Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about term 2 then. What should we expect in term 2?
So term 2, as I say, you've got the qualifications under your belt. It's a big milestone, so a cause for celebration, and we would absolutely celebrate that moment with the person. But the next stage is, how do I sit down in front of a client in 3 months' time? Now, that might feel quite terrifying at the beginning of term 2, but obviously we've got a program for them to get to the point where they're now really looking forward to sitting down in front of their first client. So all the skills and knowledge that they need, building on the technical knowledge they've just learned in the textbook. So it's a people industry. You need to sit in front of a client and ask them really personal questions, and they need to feel comfortable answering those questions with you. So building rapport, building trust quickly is an art, it's a skill. Some people have it naturally, others need a little bit of practice. So this is all about understanding how that works, but also because we're highly regulated, there are things that you need to say in the meeting up front. So you need to tell them your status, you need to go through, we call it a fact find, so there's a questionnaire to understand all the different areas of somebody's life before you can give them advice. So there's a way that you can do that. Now, the worst thing I can imagine is sitting in front of somebody doing a form filling exercise. It wouldn't be particularly inspiring. So we want to make sure that this is a really engaging experience for the clients. But also, as I say, the regulations are important. So one of the things we've invested in for term 2 are some headsets, VR headsets. So I think this is groundbreaking in the UK. I'm not sure if anyone else has got them just yet. So we're excited that we've got them first. But actually, doing a role play to somebody might sound terrifying. Sorry, you're going to do a role play with me. I haven't done that since I was at school or whenever. So these headsets actually give you confidence and build your confidence prior to doing the practice role play with your development manager. So there are 53,000 different outcomes possible. So you can never get through them all. So every time you use it, you're going to get a different client experience. And we found that that's working really, really well. So again, practice in the safety of your own home at a time that suits you. The more of that you're doing, the more confident you're going to be in real life. Other learning is very much Netflix style, modular. So we've got an in-house app where we've got different modules based on all the different subjects. So again, you've learned from the textbooks about pensions. Well, now you need to bring that to life with a client, because a client might not understand the intricacies that you've just learned in the textbook. So how do I, again, make that engaging with the client and for them to understand the importance of it? So term 2 is very much skills-based, using technology paired with real life experience. The other thing that everybody gets in the academy is a mentor. So if you're joining an existing practice, you'll be mentored by the business owner or a very senior partner within advisor within that business. But if you're starting your own business, we don't want you to miss out on that. So we give you, as I say, the spirit of the partnership. We've got mentors from around the business who help everybody coming through our academy program who are starting a business will have a mentor. And the program's structured in term 2 to have 1 day a week shadowing that person. So depending on what's in that person's diary, it could be some back office work, it could be, something team and motivating, it could be client acquisition. And what we hope they'll do is a lot of shadowing with their clients. Because what we found from historic academies is the more somebody observes somebody doing the job in real life, the faster they learn and the more confidence they build. So we've built that into term 2 to make sure they're getting real world experience with somebody who's already an expert at this job in front of a client.
So job shadowing that individual
Absolutely.
whilst they go out and actually sit down with their clients and seeing how it's done. Because you can learn so much via a role play.
Exactly.
But real world experience trumps it every single time.
Absolutely. And the mentor isn't just there to be shadowed. They're there to help them with any kind of question that they might have in addition to their development manager. So there can be a really good sounding board, helping them build confidence, giving them ideas, client sharing sometimes. There are all sorts of things that happen in those mentor relationships. They're really valuable.
One of the things I've picked up from that is process is interactive.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're using the Oculus Quest 2 headsets. I think that's such a revolutionary way to do training. Did you say there was 53,000 outcomes?
Yes.
That's amazing. So I could sit there at home, pop the headset on, and I could just sit there and just do some role plays.
Yeah.
Go through different scenarios.
And what's genius about the way we've designed them is that you put the headset on, you're the financial advisor, there's a client in front of you, you choose which questions you ask, they'll give you answers, and of course 53 different outcomes is never going to be the same meeting. But the genius part of the headsets is you then get to watch from the client's perspective. So you can replay that back as the client. And you might have thought, why did that client seemed a bit moody when he answered that one? So then you get to sit in their shoes and think, oh God, actually, yeah, maybe that question wasn't appropriate right then. So as an example, I've given it a test run, and in the role play I kept asking about this person's family, and this person didn't have much time, they wanted to get out of there, get on with the meeting. So you're just really understanding what a real life scenario might look and feel like.
That's fantastic. That's definitely revolutionary. I've not come across that. I'd love to see that in the recruitment world as well.
Yeah.
Because there are so many different scenarios. And I love the fact that you can pick up on certain triggers as well. What a fantastically forward-thinking way to train. I think people would find that super, super interesting. What's the feedback on that so far?
Been fantastic so far. And as I say, we can definitely see a step change in people's confidence when they come to do the real in-person role plays. And that again gives them confidence when they're going to be in front of a client. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
Talking to people face to face, you'd assume that somebody would feel comfortable with that when they've decided to choose a job which is client facing. But do you often get people that come through the academy that have very minimal client facing experience and actually they're kind of quite uncomfortable or maybe not as confident about the face to face side? And do you feel that when they go through this academy term 2, that you see an evolution of their confidence when it comes to client-facing work?
Definitely. And even the ones that come through with a lot of client-facing experience, again, there's that extra layer of regulation that they need to incorporate into their conversations, and that can be daunting. So yeah, it's definitely a steep learning curve for people, but they're coming out the other side feeling ready to sit down in front of clients in term 3.
That's a really interesting point. So somebody who perhaps is in a job where they have to be very careful what they do all the time, maybe they're not client-facing, but they have to follow process accordingly, all of a sudden learn the skills of face-to-face, bring that across into face-to-face, and because of the regulatory side of it, become super great at actually constructing a conversation that ensures that they're not misleading any clients in either the way. However, somebody coming from an environment where there is no regulation, but they're brilliant salespeople, for example,
suddenly need to
sharpen their, fantastic. That's a really great way of doing it. Yeah, I love the VR side. So I'm definitely going to take a look at that. So after this, I can have a little go.
Absolutely.